Welcome back to Earstravagent Adventures. I'm your host, Rachel, here to whisk you away on another thrilling journey through the magical realms of Disney, Universal, and beyond. This week, it's time to recap my most recent trip to Disneyland with a Disneyland newbie, my favorite kind of trip. But first, thank you to our sponsor, Alonzi Travel, the ultimate family theme park experts. Planning theme park trips can be overwhelming, but Alonzi Travel is here to make it stress-free. With their years of experience, they're your fast pass to hassle-free travel. They handle all the details, allowing you to focus on having fun with your loved ones. Whether you dream of Hogwarts or Disneyland, they've got it covered, tailoring the trip to your family's needs. Visit alonzi-travel.com/take the trip for a magical adventure. I'm super excited to recap my Disneyland trip. It was a whirlwind. So not only was it a trip to Disneyland, it was my sister's very first trip to Disneyland. She has never been before, but it was also Alonzi Travel's annual company meeting / education trip. We call them FAMs in the industry, so familiarization trip. But so it was there was a lot going on. So first, we stayed at my sister and I stayed at the villas at the Disneyland Hotel. So these villas just opened in September of 2023. Totally brand new, everything top to bottom. So that tower already existed at Disneyland, but they completely gutted it and made it a brand new DVC. Apologies. DVC stands for Disney Vacation Club. So they made it a brand new DVC tower. And for those of you that are DVC members, you know that Disneyland sorely needs more DVC properties. So this was fantastic. I was really excited to stay here because the rooms looked super cute. We stayed in a deluxe studio with a preferred view, and we had a view of the pool, which was really nice. And these studios, you can get two different themes. So you can either get Princess and the Frog or Sleeping Beauty. So I had called ahead to request a Sleeping Beauty room because Sleeping Beauty is my favorite. So you do get you can have two different themes. I really liked the room. I thought it had some really wonderful touches. I also was a little annoyed with the room. So what I liked about the room was plenty of storage space. The beds were really comfortable. The bathroom had a really great shower. It was a stand-up shower. They had a double mirror. The mirror had the fairies from Sleeping Beauty inside the mirror. The pull-out sofa bed was the Murphy bed was really great. There was a lot of storage space. It was just a really well-appointed room. What I didn't like was the closet space was really small. Really, really small. I did not like that. The bathroom only had one sink. I wish it would have had two or had somehow separated, because the toilet was in a separate room, but that room was inside the bathroom. So if you were taking a shower, no one could be in the bathroom using the bathroom. So that was kind of a pain. And then this is really niche, but the back of the headboard for the main bed wasn't really a headboard. It was a lighted, how do you describe that? It was like pop art of the castle, and it was made out of what I feel like was colored plexiglass. Um, Nobody from the architect team probably stayed overnight in one of these test rooms, because that pop art cracks loudly, like adjusting for temperature and stuff. So it would startle me awake a couple times, which is super, super random. And hopefully they don't do a detail like that again, because that's not something you can really control or fix. So super random. But overall, I thought the tower was stunning. I was so impressed with all the details for the tower. The hallways, the doors, the wallpaper, the fitness center is really nice. They have some Peloton bikes in there. The pool, it has its own pool. The villas do, which are really nice. The entryway, just all of it. It was really, really well done and fit within the theme of the Disneyland Hotel nicely. So that was great. We enjoyed it. One of the perks of staying on site is you can get package delivery, which Walt Disney World has done away with, RIP. We didn't utilize it at Disneyland because we didn't buy really anything to send back to the room, but it is nice to note that that is still available to Disneyland guests. Early entry is still available to Disneyland Resort guests. We didn't utilize it because our park plans didn't line up with the early entry days, because Disneyland has switched to park specific early entry instead of both parks each day. It's one park each day, and our plans didn't line up with the early entry days, and I didn't really want to change them, so we didn't do that. But the Disneyland Hotel is my favorite hotel of the three. Our team also stayed at Pixar Place Hotel and the Grand Californian Hotel. Pixar Place is very well redone. It also was basically gutted top to bottom, complete renovation. It is nice. It's just I prefer the Disneyland Hotel, and if I can stay at the Disneyland Hotel, I will. I do like the Grand Californian. I feel like the rooms aren't worth the price point, if I'm being completely honest. You're really just paying for the location and the entry there, and for the price point, like, I'd rather stay at the Disneyland Hotel. It's way more fun. The rooms, even in the standard hotel, the rooms are bigger. The rooms are more well appointed at the Disneyland Hotel. So overall, out of the three, Disneyland Hotel is my favorite. So that's the hotels. For how many park days? We were supposed to have 4. That turned into 3. I'll get into that in a minute. So we had 3 park days, and it was only 2 full park days, because one of those park days was during our training session, which took about 5 hours of the day to do that, which is totally fine. But so it was 3 park days. Now, what we did Genie Plus all 3 days, because it was my sister's first trip. We only had a couple days here, and Disneyland works so well for Genie Plus, because Disneyland is unique in that it is more a locals park than a leisure guest park. So most people just can come in for the day, pop in, whatever. They ride these rides all the time, so they're not as concerned about Genie Plus because they are locals and they can come anytime. So Genie Plus, I rarely had to use the 2-hour window. Those familiar with Genie Plus will know that you can when you can make your next Genie Plus, and you can only make one Genie Plus selection at a time. You can make your next one after you use your Genie Plus selection, or 2 hours later, whichever window comes first. So most of the time, we had to use our Genie Plus selection before we could make our next selection, which is really nice. We used probably 10 Genie Plus selections each day, which is amazing, because at Walt Disney World, you're lucky to get like 5. So 10 was great. We used it for basically all the attractions that we wanted to. We rode everything we wanted to multiple times, which that's the goal of the trip. You want to do as much as possible. My sister's chagrin, because she's not a go person, and I am. So we did Genie Plus all 3 days. And that means we took lots of PhotoPass photos, because with Disneyland, Genie Plus includes your PhotoPass photos, which is really nice. They don't have as many PhotoPass photographers as Walt Disney World, but it is a really, really nice perk, because their PhotoPass photographers are amazing. The one at Walt Disney World, they're good too, but I just find the ones at Disneyland are just a little extra. We also got to preview Pixar Fest. So the Pixar Fest parade was happening. Characters for Pixar Fest were out. The dance party for Pixar Fest was happening, but the food booths hadn't opened yet. Some of the churros were available, but the food booths were not. So we got to preview the parade, which was super cute. It was really well done for a short temporary parade. It was a catchy song. You had some really fun floats. The parade was cute. The character meet and greets are really great. And the nice thing about this is they were in both parks. So I'll get into all the characters that we met, but they had characters in both parks. So you didn't have to just be in California Adventure to experience everything for Pixar Fest. You could be in either park to experience certain aspects. Most of the stuff was in California Adventure because that's where Pixar Pier is, and it just makes more sense. But you did get elements in both parks, which was really fun. We also did both parks. Obviously, we did a lot of park hopping, which I always like because Disneyland can get pretty crowded in the afternoon, late afternoon, early evening, and Disneyland is a smaller park. So when there's more people in the park, it does feel more crowded. So it's nice to be able to park hop over to California Adventure and get some space when you're feeling a little claustrophobic in Disneyland. We also had a training seminar for my agents. So we did a sales and client experience training that was at the Hyatt House. Highly recommend the Hyatt House. It's one of the hotels that I recommend to my clients regardless. It's about a 10 to 15 minute walk to the entrance of the theme parks. It's also right next to a Walgreens, which is really nice, and it's connected to a Starbucks. So all of those things make it a great hotel option for you. So we had our meeting there. We didn't stay there, but the meeting staff was really, really nice. And I've stayed at Hyatt Houses before. They're a solid offering. Now, I know you guys are probably dying for food. That's what we all come to Disneyland for, is good food. So, of course, we ate good food. First and foremost, we had Jolly Holiday, and I was so happy to see they still had the quesadilla grilled toasted cheese. They don't call it a grilled cheese, a toasted cheese. And it was just as good as it was in January. I'm so happy to report. And this time I did get my raspberry rose macaron, and it was delicious. I shared it with my sister because it is huge. It's like the size of a softball, I would say. Like it's pretty big. I didn't want to share it, but the toasted cheese plus that was kind of a lot. So I did share it, and she liked it and I liked it. It's always a good dessert. We also went to Tiana's Palace, which is formerly the French Market. So it's where you're going to get some pretty close to authentic Louisiana Creole style food. I had the muffalata, which I really enjoy, and my sister had the gumbo, which is there's no seafood in this gumbo, and she doesn't like seafood, so it worked out great. They don't skimp on spices, so that's why I say it's close to authentic Creole food because it is spicy. Like my red beans and rice that came with my muffalata was too spicy for me, so I didn't eat that. My sister loved the amount of spice on her gumbo. It was too spicy for me, but good to know for those of you who love flavor. Disneyland does not skimp on flavor. Now, the cornbread, though, is really good. It's a sweeter cornbread, and it's a pretty big cornbread, too. Like, we shared it, and it was perfect, but I do recommend the cornbread. I've said it before. I'll continue saying it. Do not get the beignet from Tiana's Palace. It is horrible. But get a beignet from the Mint Julep Bar. I did retest the beignets from the Mint Julep Bar, and they are fluffier than years past. So I am pleased to report that they are better now. But I ordered the peach beignets, and they gave me regular beignets, and they skimped me on the powdered sugar. So that was a little bit of a bummer, but the beignet quality at the Mint Julep Bar has improved, which is really great because the last time I had them, they were flat and hollow, which that's not how you want a beignet to be. So they were nice and improved, which I'm happy to say. Unfortunately, Pim's Test Kitchen was a lose for me on this trip because they took off my favorite sandwich, the panini that they had, and they replaced it. I think they're seasonal items. I hope and pray they're seasonal items. A taco salad and some other item. And so I got the taco salad, and it was just wrong. The shell was amazing. The chicken had like a really weird flavoring on it. Plus it was served cold. And I just have a thing about cold chicken. So the salad was a complete miss for me. But my sister got what did she get? Oh, the pasta. And she really liked it. It was spicy, so I didn't try it. You see a thread here. So Pim's Test Kitchen does not currently have my favorite menu item, the panini, but hopefully it'll be back. I think these are just temporary items for Pixar Fest. We also did get into Lamplight Lounge, thank goodness, because I'll get into my trip misses, but we couldn't make our reservation that we had for the first day. We did get a walk-up wait list. I've been pretty successful with Lamplight Lounge getting a walk-up wait list, and we did, and we got to order our delicious fun wheel, and she got the Neverland drinks, and I tried the salmon poke appetizer, which is not rice-based, so that was actually really cool. You like use chips to eat the poke, and it was delicious, a perfect size, and I thoroughly enjoyed Lamplight Lounge. We also went to Trader Sam's. We had so much fun at Trader Sam's. We didn't really eat. Well, no, we got a gyoza, but that was it. We got gyoza and some drinks at Trader Sam's. Our bartender was, I think his name was Jerry or Kelly. Could go either way. Let's just say Jerry. He was phenomenal. So the first drink we ordered was from the menu. I got the shipwreck. My sister got, I forget what she got. But then for the second drink, the bartenders at Trader Sam's are like true tiki bartenders. They know their craft. They've been there for a long time. They do a great job. I've seen these bartenders before, and it's kind of years between my trips. And I recognized Jordan. I don't know if I recognized our bartender, but I for sure recognized Jordan. He was there too. But they love tiki. So for my second drink, I told him I like passion fruit, lemon, and pineapple. He brought me back the, swear to you, perfect drink. It was 100% what I wanted. It was delicious. And I told him, of course, because he came up with a drink for me. I told him it was great. And come to find out, this is a classic old tiki drink. It's called the Saturn, and it was really good. So I made note of it. So next time I go to a tiki bar, which isn't often, but next time I go to a tiki bar, I will know exactly what I want to order because it was perfection. And we had a blast. The people in there were, the other patrons in Trader Sam's were having a great time. They were ordering fun drinks. They were interacting with the fun drink stuff. And that's really what makes Trader Sam's. Like, the bartenders are fantastic, but if the patrons inside aren't having fun, then it kind of takes away from the experience. So everyone was having a great time. We were all laughing and doing the silly things that they were doing for the drinks. And it was just a great time. So Trader Sam's is one of the places I consistently recommend to people to sit inside. And the food is good. They've had some change ups to the menu, but everything I've ever ordered from Trader Sam's, I've enjoyed. It's Polynesian kind of food, so Hawaiian, Japanese inspired stuff. It's really good. Highly recommend Trader Sam's. For our team dinner, we ate at GCH Craftsman's Grill. It's the kind of like pool bar over at the Grand Californian. The food was fine. It was well overpriced. Well overpriced. But the drinks were really good. I had a nice lavender martini that was wonderful. My salad was good. Everybody devoured their food. There was no survivors. My sister ordered the nachos, and it was gigantic. So for her, the value was definitely there. My salad was kind of expensive for what it was, but overall, the food was solid. So if you need like a quiet pool day and you're staying at the Grand California, or even if you're not, you can eat there even if you're not a hotel guest. The food was good. And the drinks were good. The drinks were interesting too. So I always enjoy that. Being in a cocktail era, you're always looking for good drinks, and that definitely delivered. The biggest letdown was the Palm Breeze Bar. This is the new restaurant, outdoor dining area at the villas at the Disneyland Hotel. It's like a pool bar, but you can order food there. My sister ordered the fried chicken sandwich, and it was super greasy. I've never seen a chicken sandwich be drippy greasy, so that was a bummer. I wasn't feeling great that day, so I just ordered their 4-cheese pizza. You can't go wrong with a 4-cheese pizza. Oh, wrong. You can go wrong with a 4-cheese pizza because on the menu, it lists out the cheeses. It said mozzarella, jack, another kind that I knew, and then this other word that I'd never seen before, but I assumed it was a regular cheese. Well, joke's on me. That 4th cheese was a goat cheese. I'm not going to make a gagging noise on here, but just insert gagging noise here. I know some people don't like that noise. So it was horrible. And my server was really put out by the fact that I asked if they could remake it. But goat cheese, horrible. Plus, I'm not feeling good. No, it's a 4-cheese pizza. So they remade the pizza. But I'll tell you, the crust on this pizza is the crust of a Disney Cruise Line buffet pizza. It's 100% the same. And that pizza cost me $24. I'm going to save my money next time, not eat at the Palm Breeze bar because it was a super letdown. And that pizza was way too expensive for what you got. And our server was only okay. So overall, that wasn't the best ending of the trip experience. But, you win some, you lose some. Everything else was pretty great. The only thing that bummed me out was the Palm Breeze bar and Pim's test kitchen because they didn't have my sandwich. But everything else, we had a great time. We ate lots of food. But I know what you guys came here for. You came here to hear about the specialty churros. And I am pleased to tell you, we did have a couple. The only reason we had some was because of Pixar Fest. There were no specialty churros at Disneyland. The only thing they had was a guava dipping sauce, which I did try. It was like a guava flavored cream cheese, and it was nice. It added a little extra to the churro. You could probably not get it, and a cinnamon sugar churro is totally fine. The guava dipping sauce was okay. $1.50, probably won't get it again, but it was nice to try. The two specialty churros we had at California Adventure was the Mr. Potato Head and Pineapple Coconut. Both of those were a hit. Mr. Potato Head was a regular churro covered in, not covered, chocolate sauce drizzle and topped with crushed Lay's potato chips. It was great. It was great. The first one we got had a little too much chocolate sauce, but it was covered in potato chips. The second one we got, it was the end of the night, and they were definitely phoning it in. I asked for extra potato chips, and they gave me extra potato chips. Great. The churro, it was good. It was my favorite one. I was talking to my friend about it, and I think what could have taken it over the top for me personally, because I like things really salty, is if it was a sea salt and vinegar chip, because that has a really strong flavor. The Lay's regular potato chips, I feel like their flavor isn't as strong. So it was a little more subdued. But if it was the sea salt vinegar on top of that churro, it would have been astronomically amazing. As it stands, though, the Mr. Potato Head chip, the churro was very good. I would say out of all the churros, specialty churros I've ever had, it's number 2. Number 1, Fluffernutter churro. They didn't have it this time, but that's my number 1. Then the pineapple coconut one, I really enjoyed. I didn't really know what to expect from this one flavor profile wise, but how I described it, it tasted like a pineapple upside down cake pina colada. Because it had like kind of brown sugary and then like toasted pineapple, like caramelized pineapple, but it also had the coconut flavor. It was really good. It was super messy because it's like a pineapple coconut compote, so it's really, really messy, but it was really good. It wasn't overly sweet either, which is the great thing about pineapple. It has the beautiful tart to it. It wasn't overly sweet, and I really enjoyed it. If we were there longer, I probably would have gotten that one again because it was good. That one and the Mr. Potato Head. They did have 5 or 6 other ones. One had like coffee on it, so that's an immediate no for me. And other ones just had flavor profiles that I wasn't super psyched about. I did want to try the s'mores one, but they were closed by the time I got over there because I didn't pay attention to the time they closed, and that's my fault. But the s'mores one looked good too. I just didn't have a chance to try it, unfortunately. Now, where we excelled is characters. My sister suffers from motion sickness. If you guys want to learn more about me and motion sickness, the last episode I talked all about it. For her, a lot of the triggers were light-based. So we ended up doing a lot more entertainment and character stuff. She's a music major, so she's really into those kinds of things anyways. And that's fine by me because I don't get to enjoy Disney entertainment as much as I would love. And Disney does entertainment super, super well. So one of the places where we really maxed out was characters. We personally met Daisy, the Evil Queen, Belle and Gaston, Donald, Thor, Ariel, Cinderella, and Aurora. They were in the fairy tale hall. Tiana, Ian from Onward, Joy, Chewbacca, Pluto, and Edna Mode. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody because that's a really long list, but we met all of those in the 3 days that we were there, and Thor was the hardest one. Just for the record, Thor, I had to track him down, and when I did, the interaction was so worth it. Now, characters we spotted, but we didn't stop for, we could have, but I always, when it's somebody's first trip, I always defer to that person because I've been before. I can do this stuff anytime. It's rare that I put my foot down. I'm always going to put my foot down for Donald, but I deferred to Grace if she wanted to meet these people or not. For me, either way, I was fine. So we saw these people. It's a long list. Mary Poppins. Let's say her full name. Come on. Live action Ariel, Geppetto and Pinocchio, Aladdin, Goofy, Alice and Mad Hatter, Peter Pan, Black Widow, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Wade and Ember from Elemental, Merida, Ray, Bo Peep, Red the Pirate, Mirabelle, Miguel, and Chippendale. You guys, those are all the ones that we could have stopped for, but we didn't because we were doing other things or just didn't want to have another interaction. That's so many characters. Hold on, this thing has a count function. We met 12 and we saw 18. My gosh. So of the rides we did all the tops. So Indiana Jones, Pirates of the Caribbean, Jungle Cruise, Big Thunder Mountain, It's a Small World, Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, Matterhorn, Space Mountain. My brain is thinking. Haunted Mansion was closed for renovation. Winnie the Pooh was closed for renovation. We did Peter Pan, Mr. Toads, Pinocchio, Snow White, Scary Adventure. Across the way, we did Soarin', Monsters, Radiator Springs Racers, Web Slingers, A Little Mermaid, Toy Story Midway Mania. We did every ride that both of us wanted to ride multiple times. The things that we skipped were things that are motion sickness triggers. So for me, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, Incredicoaster, those I don't ride. We skipped everything Star Wars because neither one of us has any interest in Star Wars. And most of the rides at Pixar Pier are stuff that like we're not super excited about. So everything we wanted to do, we did multiple times. We met characters. We saw the marching band. We saw both parades. We saw World of Color. We saw the storytellers at Fantasy Hall. There's so much, you guys, like so much stuff. It was just fantastic. I couldn't have asked for a better trip. So the things that we loved, and some of these are Grace's. She loved the marching band. I love the Disneyland band. Like they are really entertaining and they are cute to watch. Also, we did see the Dapper Dans. I wouldn't say they're my favorite thing, but we did see the Dapper Dans. The Magic Happens parade. I'm obsessed with this parade. And the day that they take this parade away forever is going to be the saddest day of my life because it is such a good daytime parade. Not only does it have a great soundtrack, but the character floats are fantastic. It's a great mix of current and older Disney movies. So like Merlin is a float and so is Frozen. It's a great mix. I love it. And Merlin is amazing. He does these crazy moves. Plus, it has Aurora in a color changing dress. You cannot ask for more. Her dress changes colors. I mean, so Magic Happens Parade, loved it. My sister loves Soarin', which great because Soarin' is such a fun ride. Big Thunder Mountain for me, always a favorite. The weather. Can we just talk about California weather for a second? I'm from Houston. The weather was in the 90s when we left. Disneyland, the high was 75. It was gorgeous. We needed a light jacket at night. Disneyland weather. Can we just pause for the Disneyland weather? And my sister loved World of Color. Again, she's a music major. She really loved the symphony of music plus color plus water effects. The whole thing was just exactly what she wanted. And that was the last thing that we did before we came home. So it was the perfect little cherry on top of the Disneyland cake for her first Disneyland experience. Now, for things we didn't love, it was overly crowded. And I did hear locals say, oh, it's so crowded for a Wednesday. I was really shocked at the crowd levels, and we didn't spend as much time in Disneyland as I would have liked, just because the crowds were getting to a point where I didn't want to be in them. So we weren't really at the Disneyland park at night because it was too much, and we went over to California Adventure. Now, Grace's least favorite thing was Space Mountain. So I kind of mentioned it earlier, the motion sickness thing. I thought she was going to have bigger issues with drops and turns and stuff, but turns out Space Mountain. So Space Mountain was actually Hyperspace Mountain for our trip. And it was the light effects that were bothering her. So it was like simulating, if you guys have watched, Star Wars and Star Trek from years past, the hyperspace effect where the lights like drag out and you feel like you're flying forward, that bothered her. I'm gonna have her try Space Mountain at Walt Disney World because it doesn't do that, and see if it was. I think it's just the light effects because it was specific to Hyperspace Mountain because it doesn't normally do that. So we'll try again and see how that goes. There was also no photo pass at Cars Land at night. I was so bummed. I wanted to get a cute picture of us with the neon at night, and there was no photo pass photographers to be found. That was a bit of a bummer, but it's fine. I did not like World of Color. I hate that version of World of Color for lots of reasons, least of which it doesn't tell a story. I am a big person on, I want the fireworks and nighttime entertainment to tell a story. I don't want a character montage. I don't want that. I want a story, and this show didn't tell a story. I'm really glad my sister liked it though. But I also don't like the premiere viewing area. So when you're at California Adventure, you can get a virtual queue to save your place for preferred viewing of World of Color. Now, preferred viewing for World of Color for the virtual queue is the blue and yellow sections, which are in the splash zones. You will get wet. It's also, in my opinion, too close. And I forget this because I don't always do the virtual queue, so I forget that I don't like it. It's too close to the front. You don't have as good of a view. It's actually better to not be in the preferred seating sections because you can be further back. And when you're further back, you can better see the whole experience, because when you're up close, your vantage points, you're too close to see everything. So I like it further back, actually. So if you are thinking about doing the virtual queue, I would probably say you're good without it, actually. And then the last thing that we didn't love, my gosh, we were delayed 9 hours to get to Disneyland. And it was Sunday in Houston, and it was raining. There was lightning. That was originally the reason for the first 30-minute delay. Fine, 30-minute delay. We were delayed an additional 8 hours because 4 pilots either timed out or called out. 4 people. 4. So we boarded the plane twice because they told us our pilot was coming. One of them had just gotten off a plane and was coming to us. And apparently he called out while he was at the daggone airport. So I did nicely complain to United, and I did get compensation for that flight because it was crew related. I've never had such a horrible crew experience like that. Like the crew, once they were on the plane, they were super, super nice. We got a fresh crew, so they came from home, but I've never had that experience with a crew. Never, never. It was just insane. So that was probably the worst thing of the whole trip. And it had nothing to do with Disney. It had 100% to do with United and mismanagement of everything. But we got there, and that's why we missed our Lamplight Lounge, because we were supposed to arrive at 11 a.m. We arrived at 7 p.m. But we got there. None of our luggage was lost. I did carry-on only. I'm so proud of myself. Grace checked her bag, which was smart on her part. But I wanted to see if I could do carry-on only, and I did. I'm so proud of myself. But, overall, Disneyland is... I love Disneyland, and people ask me which one's my favorite. I do not have a favorite, except for weather. Disneyland is going to win weather every time. But I like each coast for different things. I love Disneyland for a casual, easygoing trip that is character focused, because you guys, over 30 characters we saw and or met. That's a freaking amazing. Walt Disney World, I love for a more diverse park experience because it's got 4 parks, then it's got Disney Springs, a whole different hotel vibe. Like they're very different vacations. So I don't have a favorite one over the other. They're different experiences and I want to go for different things. So I'm not ever going to go into the debate of which one is better because I think they both have a time and a place. I do like Disneyland for people who have trepidations about going to Walt Disney World because they think it's going to be overwhelming. Disneyland is easier. Disneyland is walkable. Everything is walkable. It's all right there and confined. It is easier. And the weather is better. I cannot say enough about how much better the weather is. But Disneyland is just easier. So if you're looking for an easy trip while still getting your Disney fix, that's Disneyland. If you're looking for the in-your-face Disney experience, it is the Disney experience. That's Walt Disney World. They are very different. If you want a castle that's going to knock your socks off, that's Disneyland Paris. Sorry, that's Walt Disney World, because the Disneyland castle, it's the first one and it's not that big. It's cute, it's adorable, but it's not that big. So each coast has its own kind of trip and has its own vibe. But I always enjoy going to Disneyland. I always come back happy. I always come back wanting to go again, which, spoiler alert, I don't know when I will be going back to Disneyland. Yes, I have no idea, which is so sad, but I'm sure I'll figure something out for 2025. So if you got super excited for your Disneyland trip, this is an easy one to do last minute trips for, to be perfectly honest with you. So if you don't have your summer plans yet, Disneyland is a great option because the weather in the summertime is not horrible. They do not have humidity. So even if they have like a 10% humidity day and you're used to 90% humidity, it's still way better. So if you're looking for a summer trip to get your Disney fix and you're not really keen on the heat and humidity and all that at Walt Disney World, Disneyland is amazing and we can do awesome last minute trips to Disneyland. So make sure to hit up our friends over at Alonzi Travel, and they're at alonzi-travel.com/take the trip. And they would love to get you hooked up with a Disneyland trip, whether it be a Good Neighbor hotel or a Disneyland hotel. Like I said, it's very, very walkable. So it's super convenient. And our Disneyland experts will help you figure out what's the best fit for you. So hook up with our Alonzi Travel team. Let's get you to Disneyland so you can have your own trip recap and tell us all about the amazingness that you experienced. So until then, have a great day and I will talk with you soon.